Okay, time now to introduce our very special live guest. Hello, High Contrast!
Hello, Annie.
You get a cheer from a lot of kids.
Thank you, very nice.
It's nice to see you.
Yeah, great to see you.
Your hair's looking great. I did say that we have an affinity.
Yeah, there's a kind of a mutual bouffon going on.
Mutual frizzy, curly bouffon
Yeah.
that we kind of bond over.
Yeah.
It's good. I do feel like people who have similar hair like this, there is a kind of natural affinity.
An unsaid
and kind of
thing.
mutual sympathy for each other.
Yeah,
It's like,
avoid the rain.
Yeah, exactly. How you doing?
Yeah, really well, thanks. Yeah,
I was in your hometown last
I know. I was up here.
Where were you?
I was up here recording vocals for the album.
Okay.
But I was contemplating zipping up the M4 to come and party, but couldn't happen.
Fair enough. I'll forgive you. I think that's a good reason that you're recording vocals for your album.
Yeah.
And your other Hospital Records cohort was there, Danny Bird.
Right.
So I saw Danny.
Cool.
So he represented for you.
Good man.
So listen, I mean, you're busy. Obviously, you've got the First Note Silent, which we played last week on Fern as a record of the week.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Kind of handy for me because I just got the call to come in and so that was record of the week. I was like, perfect. And you've got an album. So we've got loads of things to talk about.
Yeah.
I guess we should talk about. Well, let's talk about the single first because that's the first thing we're going to play.
Yeah.
Underworld, Tiesto. How does one make that happen on a record?
Yeah, it's quite bizarre, but that's what kind of appealed to me, especially like a drum and bass guy working with essentially kind of trance artists and stadium trance at that. It's quite unheard of, I think.
I have visions of you all in the studio arguing over hi-hats. Tiesto going, I want some trance parts.
No, it wasn't quite like that because I think the way a lot of collaborations work these days, it's more done online because everyone's kind of jetting around doing shows, DJing. That it's hard to get us all in one place at one time. So it's more kind of sending each other ideas back and forth.
Yeah.
But basically, you know, I did a couple of tracks on Underworld's last album, and so they're
Scribble, of course,
they're returning the favour on this one. And then with Tiesto, I remixed Kaleidoscope a couple of years ago. Yeah. And
that too.
Yeah, and I just really liked the sound he had going on in that album.
Yeah.
And so I just said, look, instead of paying me, let's get together and make a collaboration.
What happens if you do that and they send you stuff and it's awful?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a gamble, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, you know, whenever you collaborate with people. But thankfully,
it wasn't.
Every time it's turned out exactly how I wanted. So that's great.
Have you met Tiesto yet?
Yeah. I met him in New York at the Electric Zoo Festival. After the track was finished, you know, that was the first time I met him. Yeah. But he had his kind of mega tour bus. It was all very impressive.
Did you go on the tour bus?
I had a little look around.
Like?
I mean, yeah, it's another world from my world.
What have they got in there?
I know all sorts, really. I mean,
it's all like flat screen TVs.
Yeah, I mean, it's as you'd imagine, kind of a pimped out tour bus to be, really. Yeah.
Wow, tour busing. God, I thought he'd probably get private helicopters or something.
Yeah, I think he does that as well, doesn't he?
Maybe
Yeah,
that's just for his crew.
Yeah.
Or his violin. Doesn't he have a violin player or something?
Does
he have people that come and play violin on stage with him?
I don't know.
Maybe that's just for the violin player.
Right. I played at one festival and he appeared in a helicopter, like basically onto his stage. Did his set.
Are you serious?
And then just took off again.
That's like P. Diddy business.
Yeah.
Well, like landing on the stage, climbing out, pressing play on the CDJ.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So there's a lot for us to aspire to. Lincoln.
Yeah, you know that's good. We've still got things to achieve here.
I thought I was doing well rocking up to my gigs in a BMW, but no, there's a lot of time to go to. Bloody hell! Right, listen, you have brought in 1,000 albums. We're going to do that in a bit.
Yeah.
The choice is just perfect. I'm so happy that you've chosen that, and we've got loads of questions for you. But I think we should play this single.
Yeah, let's do it.
It is The First Note is Silent, High Contrast. How do we say it? High Contrast featuring or what?
Yeah, High Contrast featuring Tiesto and Underworld.
I'm feeling naked and alone, falling out to nothing. Chaos, like a cold, like a cloud. Noises in my head. Beauty behind me, birds.
First Note is Silence, and that is from the new album, which is going to be called High Contrast Live in the Studio.
Am I allowed to reveal this, Tom?
The label man is looking confused, which I think is a yes.
Not to change it again.
Yeah,
Have you made up your mind?
I have, yeah.
Come on
yeah.
then, let's do it.
Okay,
Now or never.
exclusive. I want to call it The Agony and the Ecstasy.
That's a yes from us.
Okay.
I love that.
That's the contrast right there.
And what's the problem? Why do other people not want to call it that?
Well, it's quite a way out name.
The Agony and the Ecstasy.
Yeah, but I wanted something kind of epic and very contrasting. You know?
Yeah, I like that. I think that's great.
Cool, thank you.
Well, it's decided now. Everyone knows.
Right, that's
it's
it,
too
yeah.
late. There's no turning back.
It's got Annie's approval, that's it.
Brilliant. Right, we need to talk about the video as well, because you were just saying that you got an amazing reaction to the video, and you made it. You're a man of many talents, Lincoln.
Yeah, thank you. It was a kind of an epic video to make. It was 3 months of kind of shooting in between making tracks because I just was running out trying to get shots that are basically 2 seconds long. So, you know, it's a video made up of lots of quick cuts in all different places from all over the world with all different people, but piecing it together so that there's actually a kind of a thread running through it. And it tells a story. Thankfully, it worked out and it's had a great reaction. And I mean, my boss at the record label rang me up crying after watching it for the first time, which is
had
just
had a big night out the night
maybe, I don't know. But I mean, that's the ultimate reaction you can get.
Absolutely,
You know?
yeah, that's amazing. So what was the ethos of the kind of premise of the video? Did you know what the story was going to be before you got the shots?
Well,
or did you just get the shots and then piece them together?
My pitch was I'm trying to show the oneness of the universe.
Okay.
Which is probably the biggest concept
That's very
you
Buddhist.
can. Yeah,
I like it.
But you know, usually a music video is kind of dancing ladies and you know some bad boy posturing.
People
but
in bikinis with drills, like Eric Prydz or something. Yeah.
So it's not like your usual video. I think it's kind of got a bit more meaning to it.
More depth.
Yeah.
Well, that is immediately a very good thing. Brilliant. Let's talk about the album quickly. 6th album, is that right?
I don't think so.
Because it says here 6th, and I'm like,
wow, no,
it will
I
be
mean,
a 6th. You've had the remix album as well, though.
I did 3 proper kind of artist albums, and then there was like a kind of greatest hits, which had a lot of the remixes on there. So kind of 4
this
albums.
Is your 5th album.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bloody
hell, though. Even that feels like
5
albums.
But it's been kind of a few years since the last one. I've kind of stepped back and just wanted to refresh myself, get some new ideas, new sounds, and just wait until I really had to make it. That it was something that was kind of really
calling you.
Yes.
Is there any dubstep on the album?
I wouldn't say so. I mean,
think that's good.
It's primarily drum and bass.
Yeah.
There's some non-drum and bass on there, but I think I've kind of invented my own kind of take on something dubsteppy, but it's not dubstep really.
Because since the last album, I mean, the whole landscape has changed in terms of that kind of bass, UK bass music, I suppose.
In so many ways the industry has changed that, and the way vinyl has kind of dropped off a lot now, and MP3s are so much bigger a part of the whole thing. So it's interesting. I feel kind of like a new artist again, you know. I'm enjoying it, and I think I've got a bit of a new sound that it'll be interesting to see how people react to the album.
Okay, well, it's called The Agony and the Ecstasy. I know that now. Brilliant. Right, let's talk about 1,000 albums.
Yeah.
You have suggested the most fantastic album ever. The feature is the longest and most tedious feature name in the world. 1,000 albums everyone says you should listen to, but we only have time to play 1 track, so here it is.
Catchy.
Taxi! So that's the feature, but it's great because it means that we can go back and relive some brilliant old albums.
Yeah.
And this one that you've chosen isn't old. It's a year old.
Yeah.
But it is definitely going to be a future classic, I think.
Yeah, I wanted to pick something contemporary because there's already so many classic albums you've done, whether it's the Beatles or the Beach Boys, whatever, So it was nice to be able to choose one that is recent.
Yeah.
And it's Chili Gonzalez, Ivory Tower.
Talk to us about this album. How did you discover it? How much did you listen to it?
I think he's just someone I came across randomly online, and I think maybe because he's got the Guinness World Record for the longest ever solo piano performance, which I think he did like 27 hours of non-stop piano playing.
I never knew that.
And entertaining the whole time because he's like a stand-up comedian. But he's basically like this Canadian rapper, pianist, kind
genius.
of genius, stand-up comedian almost. His live shows are fantastic, and for me, he's my favorite contemporary musician. Because I love the piano. So many of my tracks have got piano in it, and I listen to loads of piano music. And there's not that many people today who are kind of pianists who are still, his album was produced by Boys Noise. So it's a
incredible.
great mixture of kind of classical style with contemporary.
Yeah, he is amazing. Okay, so the album in question is Ivory Tower, produced, as you said, by Boys Noise, which is just an insane combination. And the tune that we've chosen to play is I Am Europe, which is track 2 on the album, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just got incredible lyrics. I mean, it's kind of surreal poetry, but somehow kind of captures in a very humorous way something about Europe, you know, that you just kind of understand in your gut, even though it doesn't really make sense.
Amazing. Okay, so here it is then, Chili Gonzalez from the album Ivory Tower 2010. This is album number 533. We're getting there. Slowly, very slowly but surely.
That's my favourite number as well.
533. God, how did we know? And the tune in question, I Am Europe. You told them, Chili Gonzalez. That tune is called I Am Europe from the album Ivory Tower, as chosen brilliantly by High Contrast, who's in the studio. You all right over there?
Yep, still here, loving it.
What were you saying about that feature?
Well, that album was kind of the soundtrack to a movie he made with Tiga, where they are feuding brothers who are chess champions.
Yes, I love his mind.
I need to see this film.
Yeah, and Tiga is one of the driest, funniest people I've ever met in terms of DJ-dom. And he's got a show on BBC Six Music now, which I'd say is a pretty good listen, every 2 months on Saturday night. Okay, we've got some questions for you, Lincoln.
Okay.
Who did the vocal on the High Contrast track? I can't find it anywhere. That's easy.
On the one we just played, right? Yeah, on the single. It's Carl from...
Just this guy I know called Carl Hyde from Underworld.
Carl Hyde from Underworld. I mean, yeah, legendary. He's just an incredible kind of vocalist, because he just comes out with a stream of consciousness in his lyrics. You know, it's not like structured like verse chorus.
Yeah.
He just goes in the studio and just comes out with this incredible stuff, and there's too much. You know, you've got to kind of pick through it and just choose the most choice moments. But he's just incredible. The way his mind works.
So you sent him the tune, or the bare bones of the tune, and then he kind of just did that.
I mean, he did like 5 takes of him just going non-stop, coming out with stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
that must have been amazing.
Yeah,
just hearing that in the studio, going, yes, someone's amazing.
But he actually recorded the vocal whilst Underworld were doing the soundtrack to Danny Boyle's stage production of Frankenstein at the NFT. So they were recording it in the basement studio at the National Theatre. Sorry, not the NFT.
Amazing.
So
incredible. Okay, that's your question answered very well. Lots of people loving the album name. People saying epic. It's great choice. Well done.
Fantastic.
So, Tom York, but not Tom York.
Yeah.
He texts in a lot, and we do want to hope that he is Tom York, but we don't think it is.
Tom from York.
Tom from York.
Right.
Of all the cities you have not been to and played at, which city or venue do you most want to? It's kind of a backward question. Where do you want to go that you haven't been?
I still haven't been to China.
Oh.
I love Asia in general, but I still haven't made it over to China. So everything I've heard about the gigs there, I think Hospital did a big night there, and they just had insanely huge venue with a massive H at the front, and it was all really over the top. So
I love hearing stories of kind of drum and bass being massive in like Moscow or wherever. Like it is.
Totally.
It's really big in Russia, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And like in the most far-reaching places of the world that you would never expect to be into.
Yeah, it's kind of like stadium gigs in Russia, and you know, I get security guards and things.
Really? Oh my God, you're P Diddy in Russia. That's when you get in your chopper. I like it. Amazing. Okay, DJ Naughty, great name, babe. High Contrast, I'd like to know if you can remember what it was that got you into drum and bass from the very, very start, and what is your biggest personal achievement so far?
Right. I think it was actually the sampling that goes on a lot in drum and bass.
Yeah.
Because I was just, not that into music, and then I went to college and heard some drum and bass from people who were like kind of starting out DJing, and they got me into it because they'd play me tracks and I'd be able to recognise where the samples were from. I was like, oh, that's a bit of dialogue from Taxi Driver,
Yeah.
or those are strings from some other movie, you know. And so I thought, well, I know lots about movies, and I probably know where there's lots of really good samples. So that kind of got me thinking about it and messing around on the computer with samples, and it all just kind of led from there.
God, it's such a bizarre way to enter music, is just to be a massive film buff.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? I never knew that.
Yeah.
And you used to work at a record shop as well, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Catapult Records in Cardiff, which is still going.
Yeah, amazing. And what do you think is your biggest achievement so far? That's a hard one, isn't it?
It is a hard one. I mean, just the fact that I've been doing this technically, professionally, for 12 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane to me. I love that. So I'm just happy to be still making albums and DJing around the world, and it's all kind of just been building, you know. That's what I'm proud of.
Wicked. Well, on that lovely note, just wanted to say thank you so much for coming in. It's great to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
Genuinely delighted to have you back, and can't wait to hear the new album, which you heard tonight for the very first time. It's going to be called The Agony and the Ecstasy.
Yes, it's official now.
Yay! Thank you so much, High Contrast.